Hello, so I'm going to see if ChatGPT can help me build an ABM strategy today, all the way from start to finish. From selecting the accounts to tiering the accounts to coming up with personas, what my goals should be, the tech that I should use, all the way start to finish ABM strategy. What I love about this is that so much over the years when it comes to ABM, marketers have jumped straight to execution, and all of the tech has always been around execution. And people have forgotten sometimes about the strategy. They don't want to do ABM, so they go and buy a tool, and they don't really think about all of these initial steps to really build out a successful ABM program. So maybe, we'll see, I haven't tested this yet. I've got some prompts that I'm going to go through. We'll see if ChatGPT can really be something that can help us build that strategy, really think about it in different ways, and get it kind of documented out for us to be able to start executing. So like I said, I've got some prompts. I haven't looked at this and actually asked ChatGPT these questions yet. So we're all going to be on this ride together. So the first prompt, here we go. So I'm asking it to act like an ABM consultant. They're going to help build the strategy from scratch and then answer the questions to help me build the strategy and offer interesting and non-obvious ideas to optimize the strategy. I wanted to really think about what it's going to kind of give me back and not just regurgitate maybe what I'm telling it or come up with things that people are just too obvious. So one set says there, the product I'm trying to sell is a Salesforce application that tracks the buying stages for B2B tech companies. It helps captures each stage from lead to revenue and help generate reporting. So there's an analytics element to it. And it's for marketing and sales leaders. So I'm giving it some of the persona information, some of the company information that I'm going to be after, but pretty purposefully being quite vague. And then the last thing here, once we've completed the discussion and I have everything I need, I'm saying, give me everything. And I want it to just kind of summarize everything that it's talked about, because I'm going to be asking lots of questions along the way. And I want to make sure that I don't have to go through, a whole massive long chat to try and get all of the output. So I get a bit of a summarization test here to see if it's any good at that. And then if you understand the assignment, respond with LFG. All right, so we're ready to go. So first off, let's see if it even knows what the steps are to build an ABM strategy. Okay, let's have a look at this. So first step, identify your target accounts. Defining your ICP. This is a pretty good step. Research and map the stakeholders. So who are the decision makers and influencers? Okay, again, another good step. Develop personalized content and messaging. Yes, very good. Select appropriate marketing channels. Okay. Execute the campaigns, measure and analyze performance, and then align the sales and marketing teams. Not bad, okay? I mean, you could probably pull this from the internet pretty easily too. So you would hope that it would get this right. Now the real test is how can it actually personalize these steps to my specific use case. So I'm going to start. I'm going to say, okay, I want to know, I know it put the goals and measure performance here, but I want to just know, just dig into more of the goal settings. So let's see. What should my goals be and how should I measure success? Okay, I would say this is actually pretty damn good. So the first thing is increase account engagement, level of interaction and engagement from your target accounts. So this is definitely something that we would recommend to see overall. Are you engaging with each of the target accounts on your list? It includes website visits, content downloads, webinar registrations. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot more that we could add to this list, but not bad there. Generate pipeline, of course. We want to be able to generate pipeline. It described MQLs and sales qualified leads, and then the pipeline value generated. Definitely a very important part of ABM. And then driving revenue growth. So actually, not just pipeline, but the actual growth of revenue, shorten sales cycles, and improve customer retention. Definitely very good goals. Again, I mean, you could find this on the internet probably, but getting that just clearly, boom, right there. If this was your first time doing ABM and you didn't really know where to start, this is a damn good 7-step list, and this is a pretty good 5 5 KPIs. I'm going to ask it another question here. So, okay, let's see if we can get this summarized into a table for us. Okay, let's check out this table. So the first goal, increasing account engagement. So I'm looking at website visits, content downloads, what I had before. Higher engagement indicates a deeper interest. Increasing the likelihood of converting prospects. Yes. Generate sales pipeline. MQLs, SQLs, pipeline value. Creating a healthy pipeline is crucial for meeting revenue targets and ensuring sales growth. Revenue growth, so closed won deals, revenue attributed to ABM, average deal size, customer lifetime value, and then shorten sales cycles, time from lead to opportunity, time from opportunity to close, overall sales cycle length, and then retention. So retention rate, churn rate, expansion revenue. Very good. I mean, I'll probably add some stuff to the increasing account engagement. Doesn't really have anything offline here, but I would say this is a excellent table to get some high level and specific metrics to track for ABM. So that is great. So let's go back to its steps. So obviously we've talked about KPIs and analyzing performance here in step 6, but let's go back to the top. So we want to identify our target accounts. So can we keep this pretty vague? Step 1, help me define my target accounts. Who would be the best type of account for us to target? Let's see. Okay, so I'm pretty impressed with this. So the first thing here, focus on industries where companies have complex B2B sales processes. These organizations would benefit the most from tracking buying stages. Examples include software IT, telecommunications, cloud computing, and cybersecurity. I would say I would agree with that. Company size, targeting companies with at least 50 to 100 employees, because they would have a more sophisticated sales process that would obviously be better to track. Again, I would say that's some good insight there. Obviously, CRM usage, we mentioned that this was a package that's going to be in Salesforce, so they need to use Salesforce. Sales complexity, or having a lot of decision makers and longer sales cycles, they're optimizing those buying stages is important. So again, I think it's really done a good job of understanding the product and then who would be the best fit for that product beyond kind of what I just gave it at the beginning, right? And then marketing maturity, if they're already leveraging marketing automation tools, they're more likely to appreciate the value. So that's probably a pretty good insight there too. I mean, I would expect if someone's going to be trying to track these stages and they didn't even have Marketo or HubSpot or something, that probably they would want to get that first before they would even think about trying to optimize their buying stages with a tool in Salesforce. And then growth potential. High growth companies are expanding their customer base. They've got a higher need for efficient sales processes and data-driven decision making. Really good. Yeah, so now I think that's a pretty good ICP. So based on these factors, target accounts for B2B tech in the US operate in industries with complex sales cycles of a certain size. So now I'm like, okay, I agree with that. I'm not going to dig in much more, but I want to know how I can tier these into a tier 1, 2, 3. So tier 1 being the highest propensity to buy, like the best accounts that we should go after. Tier 2, the group of second best accounts. And then tier 3, kind of everyone else, maybe like the rest of the TAM, the total addressable market, or maybe a smaller range within that. So I'm going to paste this in here. Now help me figure out a tiered strategy for these type of accounts. How many accounts at each tier? What type of accounts? How should I tier them? And anything else I should consider. Build this out in a table with columns for the account tier 1 to 3, the ideal number of accounts in the tier, and then the account firmographic requirements. So let's see how it does for this. Okay, so as I was reading this, I was going to pick up on something here where never have I told ChatGPT in this conversation how many salespeople we have, and that's quite an important thing, right? Because it's saying to have 25 to 50 target accounts in tier 1. Now, if I have 50 sales reps, that means they have one each. So it's important context, and it hasn't asked me for that yet. And I was going to bring that up. However, now when you scroll down, have a look, remember that the ideal number of accounts in each tier may vary depending on your organization's ability, capacity, and resources. Adjust these numbers based on your team's ability to effectively manage and engage with the accounts. So it did call that out. It still gave a number, but it still called out the fact that we need to be considerate of how many people we have on the team and our resources. But looking at this, if you go through the account tier, 25 to 50 in 1, 100 to 200 in 2, and 200 to 500 in 3, based on just kind of the typical, probably size of a company, essentially like ours, it probably thinks maybe we're a startup and we have a few salespeople. I'll say this is a pretty accurate amount of target accounts, or at least a general scale. If you had 10 times more salespeople, maybe you would add a 0 onto each one of these. It also depends on the total addressable market, how many accounts, etc. And I could probably ask more questions. I won't go into it now, but I would say high level, this is actually very good. So if you look at tier 1, top industries, large enterprises, Salesforce CRM, high sales complexity, rapid growth or market leaders. Tier 2, you go down to the 100 to 500 employees, 10 to 100 million, and then everyone else, this is the smaller companies, 50 to 100 employees, lower sales complexity, early stage, or moderate growth. And then it gave me a little input here. So tier 1 accounts are your most valuable targets with the highest potential for revenue and strategic fit. This is a really important point, and it's actually something that I would say a lot of people working on ABM forget. So when you're choosing your tier 1 accounts, a lot of people will just kind of pick the most well-known logos or use like one metric or one method to identify those accounts. But there's really two things you really have to think about. You have to think about the strategic fit, as in their propensity to buy or need the product that you're trying to sell. And you also need to think about the revenue potential. So if you're selling seats, if you're a company that's a SaaS product selling seats, you're going to have a much higher revenue potential if the company is 10,000 employees versus 10 employees, right? Even if the strategic fit could be about the same, that both those companies would need your product the same, the one that you really want to be investing your money into at that tier 1 level would have the highest revenue potential. Because when you think about ABM, tier 1, you're going to be putting a lot more time, a lot more budget, etc. into. So you want to be able to get that revenue return and that ROI on that. Otherwise, you're just throwing way too much budget at low revenue potential accounts. So I think it's got an excellent framework that it's using to come up with this, and then giving a lot of interesting information that's useful for people that may have not done this before. Tier 2, good fit and revenue potential, but may not be as strategically as important as tier 1. And then they might need personalized efforts. Tier 3, low strategic fit, can be targeted with more scalable marketing tactics. Excellent. Okay, now let's go a little bit further into this. Now, I want to know how much data it has. So it came up with 25 to 50 accounts. So for tier 1. So let's see. Give me a list of accounts in a table for tier 1 accounts. Actually, I want the actual account. Account name, company size, sub-industry, website, and why they are a tier 1 account. Let's see. Okay, I'm stopping this now because this isn't helpful, right? So maybe I need to reframe sample list of accounts in our table for a tier 1 accounts. Let's see if that's better. It's coming up with fake names again. Sample list of accounts in a table for tier 1 accounts. Let's try. I want real accounts. Let's just go. I want 25 real accounts that you think would be within our tier 1. Real accounts, please. Okay, it stopped here. I found this a lot with ChatGPT when it gets a bit of a long response, especially when you've got a table, it will just stop. If you do want to continue, you can just write continue. I'm actually just going to leave it here. I would say this is actually pretty good list. So we've got Adobe, IBM, yeah, Oracle, Cisco. It's coming up saying a lot of them are Salesforce users. I don't know how it's coming up with that. I'm sure many of these are, but maybe not all. So it's something to, you hear a lot about hallucinations within ChatGPT, where it's very confidently saying something. So maybe take a little bit of this with a pinch of salt, and obviously you've probably got data tools that you can use to come up with your account list, and maybe instead of just getting ChatGPT to come up with the actual list, you say, okay, what should the filters be? So I'm about to use Zoom Info. What should the filters be for each field for me to be able to filter on and get my account list? Might be a better way of doing it. But I just wanted to experiment and see if I was able to give a general account list. The other thing is it's got its cutoff date in September 2021. There's plenty of ways to get around this now. Even ChatGPT interface for some people allows you to be able to search the internet, so be able to do that. But there's other products out there or other ways of using something like Auto GPT to be able to actually get the AI to search the internet and find that information for you. So you probably could build out a full account list using this, but for now, maybe in this use case, I'll just stop it right there. So now it already kind of went through some of the ways that you should think about targeting within this table. So my account tiers, number of accounts, account firmographic requirements. And I'm going to ask, give me an outline of the different tactics I should consider for each tier of account. Add a list of maybe 3 to 5 tactics to the table you created earlier for the tiered account strategy. Now, I'm just interested if it's going to remember this is the table that I'm talking about here. And 2, now I want specific tactics to be able to target each of those tiers. And what I want to see is it going to really align the most expensive, the most high value, the most really high budget type of activities to the tier 1 and kind of scale it down from there. So we'll see. So first off, it did choose the right table, so that's great. So we'll see what this comes back with. Okay, wow. Not bad, not bad. Okay, so let's go through tier 1. Highly personalized multi-touch campaigns, executive level events, workshops, roundtables, account-specific content and offers, direct mail, dedicated account managers and account-based sales. Yeah, I'd do all of that for tier 1. Tier 2, targeted personalized email campaigns, industry-specific webinars and events. So maybe it's personalizing the content, maybe more on the industry and on the specific account. Paid advertising, account-based advertising, and account nurturing outreach. And tier 3, segment-based campaigns, educational content, paid advertising, trade shows, conferences, and account nurturing with marketing automation. I mean, if you could come up with something, much, much better than that, I'd be surprised. That's pretty much a decent outline of what I would expect. And again, give it a little bit of explanation at the end. These tactics aim to deliver an appropriate level of personalization and resource allocation based on the potential value of each account tier. So that's what I was talking about. Making sure that all of your different activities are really at the same level as what the revenue potential, the potential value of that account. Otherwise, your ABM strategy is completely out of whack. And I say that all the time. We really need to think about what is the revenue potential, and that's how much effort we're going to put into this. Of course, also looking at what is the actual propensity to buy based on the firmographic information of that company. So excellent table here. This is really starting to get into what you would need to start actually really framing this account-based marketing strategy and then actually starting to implement. So now I want to go into some of the personas. So what persona should we target? the roles and levels, list them out, give me a table, persona, role, level, the priority of the persona, and then personalized messaging for each persona. Again, pretty good. So we've got decision maker up here, C-suite, VP of sales, marketing, priority, focus on how the SFDC application can streamline the buying process, drive revenue growth, provide insights. I mean, yeah, that is definitely what you would be trying to do. Like basically for the C-suite, they want to know like, how can I make decisions of this? How can I drive revenue? And how can I improve the customer experience? Boom. Excellent. Sales leader, how the SFDC application can improve sales efficiency, shorten sales cycles, and provide clear visibility into sales pipeline. Yes, that is what a sales leader is going to want out of a tool like this. And maybe that is slightly different than the decision maker because it's more about the sales process. Marketing leader, optimize marketing efforts, generate high quality leads, and enhance collaboration between marketing and sales teams. Yeah, I guess the first one is probably what I would really think about, looking at how we can allocate marketing resources to better improve marketing efforts. Generate high quality leads. I mean, I guess, yeah, but if you are optimizing your marketing efforts, you're going to be generating better leads. It didn't mention anything about like generating pipeline and revenue from a marketing point of view. I think that would be important. And enhancing collaboration between marketing and sales teams. Yes, like that handoff process from MQL to working to pipe to meeting to pipeline. Optimizing that process, marketing is invested in that and making sure that they can also report on that to better that process. Sales ops, marketing ops is sales ops. The application can simplify sales processes, improve forecasting, streamline reporting, and then marketing ops, improve marketing ROI, better align marketing and sales data, and streamline marketing analytics. Yeah, I think this is really good. I mean, there's probably some stuff you would add to this. I'm intrigued if it would add revenue ops in a different way, or if it would just consider sales ops and marketing ops a subcategory of revenue ops. That maybe is another video for another day. But I think this is an excellent start. And again, it's just so quick, right? I mean, we could, if you've done ABM, if you've done this before, you could come up with this. It's not rocket science, but if you haven't done it, or you just need that starting point, you need just to kind of like get a draft version done first for you to optimize. This is excellent. So focus on delivering messages that addresses the specific pain points and goals of each persona, emphasizing the value. And then the higher ranking personas have more decision-making authority and can influence the adoption of your solution. So now let's dig in. Now I want to know, write a 3-step email sequence coming from an SDR. I'm going to choose the decision maker. I didn't know what I was going to come up with, so I just put persona X originally in my prompt. Keep them short, add in personalization that could be input with tokens and variables. I'm intrigued to see how it handles that. Make them interesting and not overly salesy. Add value in the emails to the prospect. Gets value from the interaction. Even if they are not ready to buy, do not ask for a call until the 3rd email. Let's see. Okay, let's check it out. So first email. Boost your sales and marketing performance data-driven insights. I recently came across your company name. It got the tokens, right? I understood what I meant by that. Notice that you're a leader in the industry. As a decision maker role, I believe you appreciate our solution, which helps businesses like yours improve their revenue growth and optimize marketing sales efforts. Blah, blah, blah. Application designed for B2B tech companies provides valuable insights into every stage of the buying process from lead to revenue. As a bonus, I'm sharing this ebook with you. I'll follow up in a few days. So it understood the requirements. So it's not too salesy, right? It's giving an ebook as opposed to asking for a call, and that's it, trying to provide value. So, good job there. You could replace the ebook with a blog or a video or whatever it was. I think it comes across somewhat bland, but again, it's probably going to. You could even prompt it more and say, okay, make this more interesting. Sometimes when sales emails are too funny or over the top. It can be off-putting as well. So trying to find the balance there. But I mean, not bad. I mean, I've seen a lot worse sales emails by a lot of other companies out there. So I think B, maybe. Obviously, everyone's going to have their own opinion. Next email, hope you found that ebook on decision making insightful. Showing another resource for you. This is now more of a case study. And then they got a nice little improvement in close rate here. Obviously, it's thinking that we might be able to actually have a close rate here, but obviously you could change this. And then this is a bit salesy, but I'll show a unique offer. Last email, mentioned mentioned the email before. A complimentary conversation to provide an assessment. 30-minute call. I mean, not bad. I mean, I'm not a big fan of when salespeople say that it's going to be like a free consultation or something, because obviously, they're trying to sell, so you wouldn't expect to pay for a call with a salesperson. But, I think it got the assignment pretty good. It hit on the pain points. It hit on some of the key things to bring up. It really understood the assignment around not trying to be salesy. Wait until the third email. I think you could take this and polish it up a bit, maybe get a little bit more of your company's tone of voice or character in there. One of the other things that you can do with this, and I'm not going to go into too much detail of how to optimize content creation. There's a lot of other people doing that, but if you did have a lot of emails that you've done in the past, you could take like the best performing emails that you've got and say, write emails like this. And then it will kind of use that tone, use even like the format of those emails, the things you talk about, and then it would really personalize these emails for your company. Now, going to throw out a bit of a random question here. So how can I get sales buy into strategy and help enable them? So I really want to see if one of the hard parts sometimes is just getting sales on board with different things that marketing's leading. So we'll see what it comes up with here. Okay, excellent. So first off, communicate the benefits, obviously. Collaborate on account selection. This one's a huge one. A lot of people really get wrong, where either sales or marketing comes up with the account list and then just throws it across the fence to the other team. Really get the teams together and figure it out together. Very important. Jointly develop the account plans. Yes, definitely. Really coming up with goals and roles and responsibilities around how to target each account. That's why you want different targeting practices for different tiers. Sales enablement, resources, documentation, excellent, very important. A communication framework. So how are we going to have alignment meetings? What cadence? What are we going to talk about? What is going to be the format of those meetings? Measure, success, and iterate. Yep, getting what gets measured gets managed. So what are the goals? How are we going to be reporting on these goals? And that's going to ultimately, if everyone's got shared goals, they're all going to be on the same page on the strategy. I like it. So now I'm going to ask, okay, I want now this turn this into a list, a step by step list for us to roll out this program. I want to turn it into more of a list now. So what should I do step by step? Wow, this is really good. I mean, I can't really find anything wrong with it. So first off, schedule a joint marketing and sales kickoff meeting. Yes, conduct the account selection workshops. Yes, develop account-specific plans. Yes, then create the sales enablement resources. Maybe you'd do that. Yeah, I guess you'd probably need to make sure you start that earlier, maybe. Conduct the training, establish the communication framework, launch the program. So I guess all these steps happen before launch. So yes, maybe some of them could be shuffled around, but it'll happen before the launch. Monitor the progress, a thing that so many people do wrong. It's like, okay, once you've launched something, that's just, yeah, we want to be able to report on our KPIs, but what other reporting should we be looking at to look at things like data quality, our sales doing what is expected of them? Dashboards and reports to show like what's happening with the data and the actual process optimization, so you can really understand. Now, this is such an important point that so many people forget as part of that ongoing monitoring and optimization. Conduct regular review meetings, yes, definitely, and then iterate and optimize. Couldn't have said it better myself. So now I feel like we've got a good overall plan. Let's just throw out another question. Is there any tech that can support this strategy? Give me tools, their features, and why I should consider it in a bullet pointed list. So I don't want a table this time, just give me a list. Pretty good list. I mean, all the players that you'd expected: Demand-Based, Terminus, Engagio, 6sense, Marketo ABM, Triblio, Rollworks. I mean, there's other vendors and these are all very ABM specific. There's other tools that potentially could be useful that can support an ABM strategy that aren't just like ABM tools, but a pretty good list of those to consider. You could probably ask under this, what are other tools that aren't necessarily ABM tools that could be also useful in a strategy? But to keep this video a bit short, I'm going to just exclude that for now. So now, let's just see. Is there anything else I forgot? Okay, so we've got content strategy, developing personalized and relevant content. Yep, good call out. Integration with the tech stack. Yes, excellent call out. GDPR and privacy compliance. Think about GDPR when collecting and processing data on your target accounts. Yeah, really good call out. That's a very important point. Sales and marketing alignment. Strengthening the alignment. Yes, obviously ABM is really a good strategy to do that. Ongoing optimization and celebrate success. Oh, there you go. Celebrate success. I like it. Now, last question. What's the craziest and most unique ABM marketing campaign you can think of? Let's see if this can get a bit wild. Okay, so let's have a look at this. Create a highly personalized, immersive, and interactive experience that allows your target decision makers to envision themselves as a dream customer who has already benefited from your product. Pre-launch research. Conduct in-depth research of the decision maker at each target account around their personal preferences and hobbies. Customized invitation. Send something like custom video message, 3D printed object to them, inviting them to an exclusive one-day event tailored to their interests. Organize a full-day VIP event for each decision maker that combines their interests. For example, if the decision maker is a golf enthusiast, arrange a day at an exclusive golf course where they can enjoy a round of golf with a professional golfer, and throughout the day, subtly weave in discussions, demonstrations of how your product can help their business. Build a custom app that can give them personalized content and interactive experiences, such as an augmented reality tour of their dream office. Follow up after the event with personalized video. I mean, it's not super crazy. But, you know, it mentions here that it would be pretty expensive and quite a lot to organize. So maybe it's thinking that's crazy, but it's not as crazy as you could probably think of, but actually not a bad campaign if you were to try and run this to specific decision makers. Actually, probably could work. Okay, now, if you remember at the top, I said, when I say give me everything, summarize it all. So give me everything. Okay, and here it is. So the summary: goals and KPIs, target account tiers, persona targeting, the tactics by account tier, the steps to get buy-in and enablement, the ABM tech, additional considerations, and then our unique idea. So let me think about the conclusion here. So I would say some of the positives, the pros, the cons, and overall. So I think the first positive is for someone who hasn't done ABM before, or maybe is rusty, hasn't done it for a while, needs some support. This really does take you through step by step and really build out a pretty decent high level ABM strategy. I thought it was really good at understanding the context, understanding some of the pain points that the product would be solving without me really giving much information. And then really understood each requirement. I asked it, like, build a table, give me the bullet point list, give me the 3 emails in this kind of way. So it really had that reasoning capability of what I was asking for. So for someone who was really new at this or needed some support, I would say this really, it's going to save them a ton of time. Like, you think about trying to Google around, ask people, try and understand what to do. Like, if you've never done this before, I've been recording this video now for an hour. It's going to be a shorter video, obviously, because we're going to speed everything up. But 1 hour, a true outline of ABM that could probably rival most outlines of ABM that even experienced ABM marketers could come up with. So I think the time, the ability to get everything down on paper, coming up with ideas is really good. I'd say that some of the issues that I might have with it is I don't think it's ever going to quite get to, well, maybe in the future, but for now, get to where it's not going to be just a pure output that you're just going to copy and paste. And I don't even know if that's really a con, but obviously if you are trying to ultimately just have AI create an ABM strategy for you, then it's not going to just completely do that in one go, that you're not going to really need to edit and come back. There was a few things that I would change about this and really dig into, maybe expand a bit more, and quite possibly with the right prompts you could get it there. But there still needs to be that human touch, and I don't think that's an issue necessarily. I think it's probably just, it's good for us all keeping our jobs, but it's something that just to consider, and something that you just need to make sure that you're not, like, really read it and understand. And so maybe for someone that was new to ABM, they might not know some of the things that they might need to flesh out, so there might still need to be that research side. But I think really overall, I would rate this quite highly as a way to come up with an ABM strategy. I'd like to test other types of strategy, other aspects that are maybe a bit more technical or nuanced, whereas ABM is quite a clear strategy and probably one of the easier strategies to outline. But I would say overall, I would give this a very high rating. If I had to give it a score out of 5, probably a 4.5 out of 5 for something where you really can just get in there with the right prompts, start building it out, get a lot of that thought exercise, idea generation, the categorization of things, the outlining, the summarization. Such a time-saving device. And obviously now, if you were to optimize this a little bit and start executing, you could imagine so many possibilities where you continue to feed back information about what's happening. You say, okay, sales didn't like this persona, or this persona isn't working as well. What do you think? How can we adapt this? So many different ways that you can build on this because the context is there now. That we've got that conversation, it's stored. You can keep on building upon this and really optimizing. Like it even said, it had that iteration step. So I'm very impressed. I think it really understood the assignment and gave an excellent output. And I would expect it to be able to do the same for some of this higher level strategy stuff. Like once it gets into the pure execution and detail and technical aspects of what we do in marketing and revenue ops, it might lose its way a bit. But here, just outlining what we're trying to achieve, the goals we're going after, how to tier our accounts, etc., I really am quite impressed. So thanks for joining. I'm going to be digging into way more use cases like this. So subscribe to the channel. If you have any use cases that you're interested in, super interested to hear about that, anything you're experimenting with AI. Every time I'm testing and doing these videos, I'm learning more and more of the capabilities, and I keep on getting more impressed. And I think maybe I need to start finding use cases that are where it's poor and it's not good at, and start bringing them to the table too to understand the limitations. But so far, it's been performing pretty good.